Hey everybody, I hope that you are doing well this Tuesday evening. This is Kira Audrin coming to you live in beautiful Southern Colorado. So tonight, I was just so inspired. It's been like a little over an hour since I finished teaching in the interdimensional integration boot camp, and I was really inspired thinking and feeling into what kind of surfaced this evening, and just feeling into even more as a sensitive and as a channeler. I wanted to share with you not only some tips and tricks that I've learned over the last 15 years, not just as an entrepreneur, but as a human being who just moves through chaos and clarity just like you. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this live and share this if you feel that there's anybody else that can learn how to develop subtle body awareness and how to really utilize the quantum field and your multidimensional gifts for management of chaos, to bring more clarity, to make conscious money moves, to use your gifts. And when you are met in the face of starting over as an entrepreneur or feeling uncertain, and creating stability, this is what the heart of tonight's live is going to be about. I don't know how long I'm going to be going, but definitely bring your journal, because as I move through this video, I am going to be giving you some tips on how to use your clairsenses. I'm going to go over 3 tips specifically on how you can utilize your clairsenses and transform your financial house, and I'm not giving you guys like just bullshit like visualization, blah, 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 it's going to happen. No, okay, that's part of it, but no, I'm not going to do that to you, okay? Actually learn something, okay, and apply your magic and your mastery, okay? So we're going to be talking about dimensions, especially the 4th dimension in this video, and we're going to be going over some concepts around channeling the framework as meaning a new framework or a more enlightened way to create or co-create in the world right now through these shifts, okay? So let's back up. So clarity, the words I'm about to say: clarity, chaos, money, multidimensional gifts, starting over, certainty, uncertainty, stability. Now these words can evoke emotions, okay? And how your body responds to those emotions in conjunction with these words, in relationship to these words, is going to give you information on how you are in relationship, not just to your belief system and your emotional body, but also how you are functioning in the 4th dimension and above. So hang with me here, all right? Because I am going to be very in depth, and I'm teaching as well. So if you're curious about developing or taking your healing gifts or multidimensional gifts to the next level, pay attention, because I'm actively teaching you right now. Okay, and it's so fun, so fun. So if you are able to recognize that you're gifted, and most of the people that I train are entrepreneurs, they're healers, they're yogis, they're psychics, they're in the financial industries that are kind of behind the scenes gifted. These are the people that I serve right now. Okay, and as we continue to evolve as higher consciousness and action, we are still multidimensional beings, and sometimes in the lower dimensions, and I'm not saying bad. So how we're interfacing right now, this is a 3D, 4D interface. We're interfacing in these fields, okay? So it's not bad. It's the way that we function, okay? And so our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual bodies are always giving us information on how we are operating and where we are creating from, okay? Now, just because you have a bad day or a bad month or a few bad years, whatever it is in your perspective, does not mean that you are co-creating or consciously creating from an unhealthy space, okay? So what we're going to explore is how you can use your gifts in your business, in your personal and professional life, to continue to consciously create with the collective energies as well as channel your own shit. Because what's happening in the world, and especially for some reason on my page, I'm just gonna let you guys know, about a month and a half ago, I blocked an old coach of mine for plagiarism. Somebody I hired, somebody who I've paid a lot of money for, ripped me off, all right? Not cool. I'm seeing this more and more. It's been happening, and I don't always say something, but if you wanna learn how to channel your own content and have it come from a place that's uniquely yours, that's in alignment with your mission, I'm probably the coach for you. I'm probably that person, okay? If you wanna allow yourself to really, really embody your voice and your authority rather than copy and paste other people's shit, then I'm probably that person to lead you deeper without judgment, okay? So that's all I'm gonna say. You want to, when you allow yourself to transcend, and not talking about like, oh, I'm meditating and I'm feeling all good. No, when you allow yourself to truly practice your multidimensional gifts, enter a setting, and sometimes that hasn't been created, okay? And that's what I'm here for. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I'm really good at it, okay? And I'm so deeply committed to you, okay? So when we are higher consciousness in action, and when we are co-creating in our timelines, we can feel, especially in we're sensitives, we can feel a shift, we can feel disruption, and that's what's happening right now on the planet, and it's so good. Actually, the energy that we're in right now is what we're getting a taste of, and it's what's going to be anchoring for next year, okay? So the actions that you take right now are weaving your realities, okay? Now, Kira, sometimes we hear this all the time, all right? But is anybody out there giving you information on how you can see your timelines, how you can utilize your gifts and your subtle body awareness to continue to alter your timelines? I'm not seeing it out there, and so this is what I'm here for and how I'm here to teach you, okay? Especially if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and helping other people develop their gifts, okay? Because you are in the quantum realm. It's where we're going. It's where the whole of consciousness on our planet, we're going to continue to head there, okay? So our multidimensional gifts not only offer us perspective, not through our healing journey, not just as we're unwinding and processing our human experience or soul experience, but our multidimensional gifts are actually the portals or the wormholes to where those quantum codes can interact and upgrade your RNA and DNA. It is your RNA and your DNA that are the quantum receptors to your codes, okay? We're gonna start there. Secondary, we need a basic understanding, not just cognitive, but in the body. This is where your practice comes, okay? So your third eye is the one, okay? The pineal pituitary gland, this is the command center, okay? This is kind of what I taught tonight in the interdimensional integration boot camp, right? And everybody had profound breakthroughs. They were able to look at their timelines and see the difference, okay? So we're usually operating on default. So I had everybody tonight look at your quantum field. Even people that have maybe never exercised their clairvoyance and their clairaudient gifts, okay? So you have the ability to look at your timelines. Not only do you have the ability to look at your timelines, but you can assess what is stronger and what will probably happen, okay? So myself as a seer of 20 years in counting, and a lot of the work that I do and the training I do is to teach you to see and manipulate the quantum field. But we must operate from a higher dimensional awareness. So that way, when it comes to the fourth dimension, when it comes to the third dimension, when it comes to you marketing, when it comes to you addressing, your relationships, etc., okay, you are operating not just mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically in a higher dimensional space, but you're consciously creating you're consciously, correcting your timelines, okay? So for example, I'm going to show you just kind of some of our work. It's really messy from tonight, okay? Just as an example. So I channel tonight that this was my default. Okay, it's pretty linear. Like if Kira was not to create any action, what would her timelines look like? And tonight's lesson was specifically it was around money. Okay, so we were able to assess, okay, specifically the vibration that I'm working with is money. We're going to look at our timelines. So this work is actually happening in the 4th dimension, okay? Now, when we shift perspectives, when we move through a sequence of how does my body respond as I switch dimensions? Now, I have to speak in this manner because we're not in a training atmosphere, okay? I'm trying to give you the process of what naturally happens or occurs in the world. It happens in your bodies. And one of the examples I gave tonight was just as a cell, a healthy cell that's functioning properly, can program the cells around it, as is our relationship to our multidimensional subtleties, our multidimensional senses, and how it relates and can program our waking reality through our body. Okay, that is the heart of what we're exploring right now. And when we take action, that's when you have your quantum leap, your paradigm shift, okay? Because you are literally starting to take the action from the coded space of higher consciousness. Now, let me go back to my illustration. So I'm actually just going to erase this real quick, just to show you. So let's say most of us, you know, we're waking up in the morning, we're a little frazzled, even if we have some spiritual practices, maybe we do our mindset work, our journaling, we have a green smoothie, whatever, drink your water, your coffee, your tea, whatever it is. Maybe a mimosa, who knows? Maybe you stayed up all night and you're just nursing a hangover, who knows? But what matters is you are consciously always creating, and your body from the 3rd dimension is giving off, this is where we're at, your vibrations. Your 4th dimensional consciousness is what I call the grid. So you're always able to assess how and where you are moving on the grid. Now this is a technique that I teach. I'm doing my best right now. But just so you know, I do have 12 one-on-one sessions available right now. My sessions are $444, and I'm throwing in my multidimensional money creation workshop, okay? It's 3 hours. I also am opening my 12-month mentoring. It starts next month, okay, in the month of May. And I also have 2 one-on-one availabilities for private mentoring, okay? So when we're on the grid and we're in 4D, most of us are operating from here. You also have the collective energy, okay? Usually people in their mindset work, blah, 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 they're just trying to feel better. They're just trying to feel better to be in a vibrational state to where they can co-create their reality. Now, what I am proposing to you, or the multiple yous out there, is in the way that I live my life, in the way that one of the reasons why I'm hired is to not only advance your business, your wealth, as well as your health, your relationships, your sexual healing, but also so that way you can continue to get your own information. All right, you go get your own information and you go nourish others. All right, that's the whole reason why I feel that we're doing what we're doing. So we have the collective energy here, and most of us are operating from 5D to 3D. Now I'm speaking in the collective. Now when we're able to look at timelines, as we did tonight, and what I'm proposing is, let's say the thing is everybody wants to make more money, all right? So let's say your default, if you were to look in the quantum field, now this can happen and it can be done. Let's say your default timeline, your money, your financial timeline looks like this. Now the example I gave tonight was, okay, this would be if this student, took no action. They are operating on default. They're just moving with, going with the flow, how we say, right? Well, let's say there's higher dimensional you in the 9th dimension, which is your soul plane. And this is kind of like, we're all like, hey, how how do I reach my higher self? How do I get more downloads? How do I this? How do I that, right? The information comes through the quantum field, through your subtle anatomy, and connects with your body, okay? This is just really, really brief, really, really short. So these ninth dimensional frequencies, they're trying to penetrate, okay, the lower dimensions. Now, the way that we create or consciously create your law of attraction stuff is happening in time space. This is the fourth dimension. Now we have alternate realities, okay? Now when we look at our timelines, and you can do this, is you can find the higher timeline or the higher dimensional path, okay? And when I train my students, I teach them to see the multiples and what will be crystallized. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I see the timeline, it's gonna be crystallized. Not if you don't take action, and sure as shit, not if you don't rest, okay? Because we need to be available to absorb. Just like your body and your gut needs to be a healthy body can absorb proper nutrients and absorb the nutrients and give it to the body, as is the higher dimensional codes that we're bringing into the body, okay? So as we're channeling and looking at our timelines, we also become more self-aware. Self-aware meaning the multidimensional awareness. So tonight, what I was training my students is, okay, which interdimensional frequencies is influencing your financial house from higher dimensional coding, as well as anything that your soul's wrapping up. And what a lot of people channeled tonight was the collective, and how the collective is just spazzing out right now, okay? So we move through this beautiful conversation around, okay, well, what is our job as channelers, as multidimensional beings, as entrepreneurs, as beings who are invested in the development of our planet through our business, okay? And when we are preparing our businesses, and if we say, this is Curology here, this is my personal beliefs as a human being, okay? I personally say, if we are going to truly allow ourselves to continue to evolve, we must practice. And we must practice with teachers who have been there, okay? Because as we are advancing, eventually we are going to be the stewards of this planet. We are the stewards of our planet. And there's going to be a version of us that is looking for teachers, okay? And that's right now. The heart of this is, how do we continue to evolve from a solid foundation, from an unstruck place, from a place that cannot be moved, okay? So I say, if you would like to make more money, do not go study more money, go study stillness. So that way, when the fluctuation of your bank account goes up and down, you're still. Don't study money, study stillness, okay? I would say to the person, if you're wanting to, have a lucrative business, go allow yourself to serve. Serve the soul. Study people, not the product. How does your soul naturally participate in community? Okay, so if we're studying how do I evolve my healing gifts, my clairsenses, we must put ourselves in the situation to where we can practice. And this is what I offer to you, and this is what I'm fucking great at, is offering you the space in which you can practice, and practice amongst your peers. So if you would like to move forward on 12 months, the 12-month mentoring, you can hop into my inbox and we can have a conversation. If you're interested in one of my sessions, they're $444. In 90 minutes, we can map out your business. We can move through some of your multidimensional gift training. We can move through body painting. The sky is endless, okay? But what matters is how we capitalize on our time together to move you. And this is where we are going to be operating from. I must assess your timelines. That's where I start. Where are you now? Where are you operating? And how do we move you to that space? Not just mindset, not just journaling. This is where my multidimensional energy work comes in, and how I train you to supply and resource yourself as well as your students. The unstruck energy that I'm referring to is when Shiva meets Shakti. So masculine meets feminine, as above meets the below. The space to where you cannot be moved. So these are the 3 tips that I'm offering you in this video. Please take notes, because when it comes to, I mean, you guys need to understand, when it comes to money creation, when it comes to starting over, when it comes to chaos, when it comes to all of the ways that can knock you off of your center, do not go study what is going to give you the short satisfactions. Study your body, study stillness. Study your nervous system, okay? And this is why a routine and spiritual practices, and I'm speaking from I started my yoga practice at age 19, okay? I've been through a lot of really crazy stuff just like you. And what I am sharing with you is to invest in you, your relationship with your body, your relationship with your gifts. Where do we start? Where do you start with if you're a beginner? Where do you start if you're an entrepreneur and you're like, well, I feel like an island. I feel isolated. I don't think anyone can understand me because I do love money and wealth, but I am also a healer or whatever it is, okay? So I've created a space for spiritual entrepreneurs who are focused on their first or their multiple 6-figure creation, but I need your time. I require your time. I require commitment. It's a soul investment, okay? It's not, sure, I do not look at you like a transaction, okay? I'm invested in you because I know that you are going to continue to do the work and you're going to continue to teach others. That is what I continue to see in my work in the world, okay? Is teachers continue to grow and nourish their communities, and that's what I'm here for and how I'm here to support you, okay? So the 3 tips that I want you to take away from this video is, if you are utilizing your clear senses in your business, with other people, in your personal and professional world, in your marketing, which is your content, your copy, and your brand philosophy, okay, then you can effectively, if you have ever had that like gut feeling, or if you're already practicing in your business to some degree or even privately, okay, because not everybody who has a business, who's a spiritual entrepreneur, is necessarily practicing their gifts, okay? But if you have, then you can do this. The first thing that you need to understand when it comes to creating more money, to changing your life, to vigorously taking action, is you want to assess how you transform, okay? So what I mean by that is, I want you to quickly assess right now, where have you been in your life that has, what have your experiences been that has led you through your transformations? So sometimes what transforms us can be an experience that has a lot of emotional output. So that can be pain or pleasure. I'll just say it like that, okay? That pushed us to evolve, that pushed us to make a decision, okay? So it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're an entrepreneur or just, it doesn't matter where you're at in your life, you can apply this to anything. But especially when it comes to money and the principles that we're learning tonight, is how you transform is how you essentially root to your convictions, and how rooted you are in your convictions is actually what's going to move your ass and move your entire quantum field, okay? So you need to understand how you transform. What did you do in the past that is prevalent to now, okay? And what did you do in the past through your phases of transformation that you can adopt right now? So I'm going to use an example, okay? So I used to smoke cigarettes. I started smoking cigarettes in high school, and I stopped before I became a mother. I stopped smoking cigarettes after 6 years, and I knew the one thing that I needed to do, because I was an athlete. I know that every time I was like, from my younger years, when I was pissed at mom and dad, when I had a bad day, I was running and I was hitting the ball. I was kicking that ball as hard as I could. So I started evaluating my life. Okay, Kira, what did you do? What was your MO? When it was time to transform, what'd you do? I exercised my body. Okay, I put myself in a position to where I had to jerk my nervous system. Now, I was young. I didn't know that actually it's a therapy. I didn't know this. This was intuition as a young girl. Yeah, I was a child. Okay, so when we're transforming, I know for me right now, every time I need to transform, I hit the gym. I push it a little harder, because I know myself. I got to create that inertia. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, okay? But study yourself and make sure it's not coming from a reactive space that shrinks you. Let it be the inertia of how you have transformed in the past, so that way you can continue to transform, because that is your power. And remember your convictions and what mentally and spiritually brought you through these times in your life, okay? That's what's going to take you, okay, to the next level, or whatever it is. There's always a next level, right? Or expansion. All right, second. Now tonight, and some of these concepts can be extremely abstract, okay? I'm talking about dimensions and dimensional frequencies and blah, 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 like way out there, right? But we know that energy affects matter. Energy affects your consciousness, okay? There are different flavors and spectrums of energy, all right? What I am specifically speaking to is our relationship with life force energy, and how divine intelligence is programmed through your relationship with prana, period, okay? Through that relationship, we interact through our body. Usually our mental and our emotional state. If we're operating in a higher dimensional state, like fourth dimension and above, then we're utilizing our spiritual senses, and that's when we start to move into the functions of the psyche or your psychic energy, okay? So the second tip is, when you become a conscious creator, when you're really thoroughly allowing yourself to practice and move through these concepts every day. And then I told my students this, like tonight. I was like, I literally do this every single day, guys. There are some things that are some non-negotiables. Even if I'm laying in bed or through the day, I'm looking at my timelines. It's one of the things that I do. I give ascension reports and timelines, okay? It's just how God created me. And so we want to understand our dominant bodies. So I keep it pretty simple when I am teaching, and I call it your PEMS. So again, some of you, if you've ever trained with me, you're going to see this. Some of you who are curious, I suggest you just take advantage of one of my one-on-one sessions right now if you're curious, so that way I can take you deeper into some of this, as well as your business and your own quantum coding. So when we are looking at how the dimensions are influencing us, we want to know, okay, you can use your 5 senses through dimensional frequencies, and that's what people really don't understand, okay? Your physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. You're definitely taking your physical, emotional, mental, spiritual bodies with you as you astral travel, because again, in the quantum field, your RNA or DNA are the receptors to those codes, all right? So in the fourth dimension, you want to assess, and you can just ask your intelligence, hey body, hey soul, am I operating more in my physical, emotional, mental, spiritual bodies as I co-create? Now your third dimension is going to be matter, okay? That's just how we're saying it, okay? Fourth dimension, it'll say spirit and how it moves matter in third dimension. And it could be a combination. So let's say you're channeling and you're like, can you get the quick answer real quick? And it's like, okay, in the fourth dimension, I'm more default operating in my emotional body. That's most of us, okay? Now let's say we're using our gifts, and please do this. Move to the higher dimensional planes. Let's say the 5D is a buzzword, okay? So let's say fifth dimension. Fifth dimension, just quick, a lot of people associate it with love, flow, bliss, okay? These are emotional states. So let's say you start to learn more about the functionalities of your body in the fifth dimension, okay? And you're like, oh, you realize, okay, well, fifth dimensional me, the me that I'm merging with, my money, my timelines, is actually operating more from spiritual consciousness and mental consciousness. So we're going to find the information, and this is a lot of how we train together, is we keep on finding the information and we divert our mental awareness, our actions to that space. So for example, like I just shared, is if we're in the fourth dimension and you channeled, okay, I didn't even know this, I'm co-creating by default from my emotional body, it's not bad, but now through my multidimensional gifts, higher awareness, higher intelligence, I'm able now to perceive there's this whole other side of me that I can embrace that's actually going to tilt my timelines, my manifestations in a different manner. Okay, how? I can't tell you, I'm not in your body. But in this example, we can shift from emotion, okay? Now this is not like behavioral therapy or anything like that, and I am not a therapist, okay? But we can shift from emotion to moving our consciousness to a more mental spiritual state if that's how that timeline is operating from, okay? So we make this more conscious. Does this make sense? And like I said, I know it's very abstract. Now, lastly is downloading the framework. A lot of you guys have quick downloads. I got the download for this and download for that. That's amazing. It's so amazing, and thank you for allowing yourself to continue to learn, right? All of us, because it just gives us more permission to share, hey, like I had this experience and it's amazing. So every time, we share, it's just so phenomenal. Okay. But here's another thing in our business is we could be operating in a framework. So I'll say it like this, in our systems, okay, in an outdated manner. Now, I don't believe necessarily in fixing something that doesn't need to be fixed, okay? So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If that applies to you. But when it's time to upgrade, it's time to upgrade. And that's, I believe, thoroughly where we're at over the next 4 years, and we're really getting started, okay? That's why I made a post the other day. If you're feeling like this is the vibration of like starting over, you are not alone. All of us have been literally creating and practicing the last few years for restructuring our foundation. We've been learning so that way 2024 to 2028 prepares us for the 2032 when we start to come out of some of the cycles that started in 2012. Anyways, your framework from higher planes could be shifting right now. And all I want to do is encourage you is if it's time to gut your business and start over, that's fine. If it's time for you to go back to school, and go back to school. If it's time for you to say, hey, I don't know how I'm going to fucking do this, but I'm going to commit to investing myself, then that's what you need to do. Because what's fucking a lot of people up is that they are not allowing themselves to be in that unstruck energy. They're not committed. And when I say not committed, they could be mentally committed, but if there's doubt, you know what I mean? If those convictions aren't there, then you're defaulting, and then you move back into that timeline, okay? And right now, the collective, as well as all of us personally, it's time for us to really embrace our tools and the way that we can apply higher consciousness to the way that we create in the world. And I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be so challenging. Sure, action is action. We all have our responsibilities and we know what to do, okay? Generally, if we're a responsible human being, we generally know what to do, right? If you are in your business and you're operating on an autopilot, you know what to do. If you're repurposing content and maybe kind of like popping in and out, you know what to do. But when it comes to truly upgrading and being a conscious creator and being invested in the way and taking some of our past seriously and say, okay, like I do want to learn about how to be more conscious and aware and bring more of this vital energy and divine intelligence into my life and let it overflow into all of my life and create structure and discipline. This lifestyle is going to benefit you in the long run, okay? Because if we adopt and manage our focus and we affirm with our mind the direction of the quantum flow, if we develop subtle body awareness, if we continue to manage our inner narrative and continue to move towards that unstruck energy, you are going to learn more about yourself, and I promise you, your relationship with the divine. Okay? My dears, I'm going to jump off. I have 12 one-on-one sessions available. Okay? My sessions are, the last time I opened up one-on-one sessions was last fall. Okay, so they're about 90 minutes to 2 hours. Okay, I don't really cap on time. I just allow your soul to lead, and whatever needs to be done can be done. So in 90 minutes, effectively, we can map out your 6-figure moves. We can go over your content and copy. I can learn really quick about the back end of your business. This is the business side. We can map everything out in 90 minutes quickly, easy, okay? If you're looking to reposition, that's where what we can do in 90 minutes. If you need some assistance with moving the quantum field, your multidimensional upgrades, definitely I can serve you there. Or I also would suggest some of your multidimensional training. So if you're a healer or if you're channeling, there's so much, so I can't go through all of it right now. But if you're ready to move into intergalactic channeling, whatever it is, then definitely I can lead you into that space. But if you're a little bit more serious, those sessions, I would say, if you're curious about ever working with me one-on-one or committing to a group container, that's where I would use that space, okay? Especially if you're like, hey, I'm curious about you, then let's just drop in, okay? Next month is when I open my 12-month mentoring, okay? It is in depth. We move through these concepts of your deeper into your business, your training, your money mindset, of course, proven techniques to help you in your brand, your position in the marketplace, but more importantly, your relationship with the divine, and not more importantly, but as equally as important, you're going to learn how to stabilize your nervous system through the science and technology of yoga. Okay? Get into my inbox and I will connect you. Tomorrow I'll see you live as I am going to be working on our brick and mortar space. Again, you guys, there's so much going on behind the scenes. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to serve you because the ways that I can serve you and love you is infinite. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to be showing you guys behind the scenes at the new space, the building. So if you're in my local community, I'm really excited to be preparing this space for you. And if you are outside of Colorado, just know that I'm going to be welcoming you in. Bye.